up and whatnot. We're going to be starting the space shortly. Just letting a few people come in. Just letting a few people come in. That's all we're doing. So, as always, I'm glad to have you guys in the Newstoter space. As always, and yeah, we're gonna be talking about affirmative action and the Supreme Court and all of this other stuff that's going on. So, you guys I definitely look forward to hearing your opinions tonight, hearing what your views are. And this is going to be a very interesting conversation. We got Kyrie Irving, who's never shy. Remember, Kyrie's the NBA star that refused to take the COVID test. So Kyrie's standing on his sword. He's sitting up here and he's saying what he feels and whatnot. He's got his chest out, poking it out, letting everybody know about it as well. The anti-Semitism. We went on Kanye West. We've been talking about Kanye West. We see Nick Cannon. People are invoking the name of Louis Farrakhan and whatnot as well too, talking about this whole anti-Semitic coaching. I really don't like it because it seems like black folks now, black men especially, are being targeted, being labeled with this. And whenever you want to just avoid having an actual conversation about race in America or anything like that, then mainly the thing you do is go ahead and you paint black people as the true racists. You say, okay, well, you guys are the racists. You guys are the ones that keep things going and whatnot. Really, racism is dead, and you guys are the ones sitting up here. You're just as racist as you want to be and all this other stuff. So it seems like they're trying to go ahead and we don't really want to talk about race and whatnot. And not only that, this man has a right to sit up here and talk about. I mean, now you're getting to the point where people are getting offended because he's simply sitting up here talking about that black people are the original Hebrew. So that's striking a nerve with a lot of people. A lot of people do not like the fact when you start mentioning black people as having Hebrew descent and stuff like that. That gets people upset. So they're trying to break your boy Kyrie. Kyrie's sitting on his sword and whatnot. But I'm also worried about the other black men as well that's going to be targeted, that's going to be labeled as haters and racist and all this other kind of nonsense and stuff like that. So we got quite a bit to unpack tonight. DJ, I sent you the co-host invite. My man Ray, he trick-or-treating with the family and whatnot. He got the children out there trick-or-treating. So Ray, he gets a chance to come in here later on. He gonna come in and whatnot. So I just want to say shout out to all you guys that's up in there. DJ, I see you also going between YouTube as well too. So shout out to you guys coming in. Let's go ahead and tweet the space out. We're gonna let a few more people come in here. And like I said, I want to hear everybody's perspective tonight. I want to hear about your feeling about affirmative action, something that's been taking place since 1978 in terms of the college admissions. I want to hear what you feel about the actual anti-Semitism as well too. Is this a phrase that's just been thrown around too much? Because once you get labeled anti-Semitic, now it's almost time to close shop up. You get labeled anti-Semitic, you can get labeled anything in the world you want to. You can be homophobic, you can be racist, you can be this, you can be that. But that anti-Semitic is number one. That's like the do not touch button right there. That's the doomsday device. You activating nuclear warheads and whatnot. So when you start mentioning stuff about anything about anti-Semitic, then yeah, you got a target on your back right now. So Kyrie's already somebody who's very much disliked by the general media and whatnot. So now he may just have increased the target on his back and whatnot. And like I say, this brother has a right to express his view. And it's another thing, people sitting up in there like we have no culture, no religion, we have nothing. Like everything that we came to have and whatnot in this country came from white folks. Like we had no religion, we had no spirituality, we had nothing. We just was a bunch of heathens running around half naked in grass huts and stuff like that until we got educated by our European brethren and whatnot. To sit up here and say, well, how dare him sit up here? You know, I have not seen the documentary. I have not seen the documentary. I don't know anything about the documentary that Kyrie's talking about in terms of the Hebrew Israelites. I'm going to touch up on that in just a second. I'm just letting more of you guys come in there. And I'm not going to sit up here and say I agree with everything that Hebrew Israelites say in terms of their speech and the way they talk to people on the streets and whatnot. But at the same time, I know, and you guys know for the most part, the people that was on this planet, the people that spirituality comes from are black people. And people will say melanated, but I'm going to say black people. Spirituality comes from black people. And black people are all over the world. And black people in all those areas where these Bibles and religion and Christianity and Judaism and everything else was founded at. Okay, you can sit up here and you can split up the Middle East and you can split up Africa and you can split up all these other sections and stuff like that. All of this stuff black folks had a hand in. And to see people get upset and get pissed off because they feel like that a black person should not sit up here and say that they're one of God's chosen people. And that's what it all boils down to. Like I say, I'm not sitting up here promoting hate or this and that or whatever, talking ill about anybody's religion or their race or whatever. But to sit up here and say that a black person doesn't have the right to sit up here and say that they're God's chosen people as well. And like I say again, I am not sitting up here and saying I have watched the DVD, but I do know a lot of the Israelite doctrine and how they believe and stuff like that. To sit up here and say that this individual can't sit up here and say certain things or whatever, and then you want to label him as an anti-Semitic, I believe is just not right at all. So once again, guys, I'm glad to have y'all up in the space tonight. And these are the two topics that we'll be discussing tonight. Affirmative action. Affirmative action came into play because, let's be honest right here, we had a lot of Asians and white males sitting up here complaining, talking about they could not get admitted to these universities. So they went up there and they've been plotting and scheming to go ahead and get rid of affirmative action. That's where it comes from. And we had our boy Clarence Thomas up here today, cutting up once again. Clarence, somebody who's benefited from affirmative action. He's sitting up here, and I mean, now he's sitting up here and he's acting like a stranger and stuff like that. So this is a discussion tonight. I definitely welcome everybody that wants to come up here and speak. We're going to touch upon a couple articles and stuff. I definitely want to get your opinion, your views. I want you to share any experiences you have about anti-Semitism, affirmative action, anything of that nature too. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just start touching up on this stuff right now. I want to go ahead and get it going. The Twitter space, probably we normally go a couple hours. It probably won't be as long tonight. We're going to try to do it under a couple hours if we can. I want to go ahead because I have some important things I need to take care of, family issues and stuff like that as well too. So I want to make sure I go ahead and I was able to connect with the people. I was not on Thursday, so I'll be it'll be a couple times. Normally we do it Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But like I said, I have so many different things going on, and we're handling so many different things. So I will definitely try to be on a couple times this week. But if you guys can't catch me the 4 times that week, I do apologize. I want to go ahead and just give you the heads up and let you know right now. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right into the Kyrie Irving thing as well too. This is from CNN. It says Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving defends his tweet about a documentary deemed anti-Semitic and stands by sharing a video by Alex Jones. Alex Jones, not Alex Jones. Now, Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving said he is not going to stand down on anything. I believe, and after he was condemned by the owner of NBA team for tweeting a link to the documentary deemed to be anti-Semitic, the star guard tweeted a link Thursday to the 2018 movie Hebrew Negroes, Wake Up Black America, which is based on Ronald Dalton's book of the same name. Rolling Stone described the book and movie as stuffed with anti-Semitic rhetoric. In a post-game press conference after the Nets lost to the Indiana Pacers on Saturday, Irving defended his decision to post a link to the documentary. In terms of the backlash, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody, and I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life, he said. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations, it's a big no. No, I don't live that. I don't live my life that way. Several organizations have condemned Irving's tweet, including the Anti-Defamation League, the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Nets owner. I'm disappointed that Kyrie appears to support a film based on a book full of anti-Semitic disinformation, said the Nets owner Friday night. I want to sit down and make sure he understands this is hurtful to all of us. And as a man of faith, it is wrong to promote hate based on race, ethnicity, or religion. This is bigger than basketball. Irving said in the press conference that he respects the owner, but he claimed that he had not tweeted something harmful. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out saying that I hate one specific group of people? It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to watch it or not is up to you, Irving said. There's things being posted every day. I'm no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. CNN has asked Amazon for a comment, but at the time of the publication had not received a response. At the same time, Irving acknowledged his unique position to influence his community, but said, what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, in a tweet Friday called Irving's social media posts troubling. The book and the film he promotes trade in deeply anti-Semitic themes, including those promoted by a dangerous sect of the Black Hebrew Israelites movement. Irving should clarify now. The Nets also spoke out against the star guard's tweet. The Brooklyn Nets strongly condemn and have no tolerance for the promotion of any hate speech, the team said in a statement to CNN. We believe that in these situations, our first action must be open, honest dialogue. We thank those, including the ADL, who have been supported during this time. The NBA issued a statement saying hate speech of any kind is unacceptable and runs counter to the NBA's values of equality, inclusion, and respect. We believe we all have a role to play in ensuring such words or ideas, including anti-Semitic ones, are challenged and refuted, and we will continue to work with all members of the NBA community to ensure that everyone understands the impact of their words and actions. Rolling Stone, meanwhile, said the movie and book include ideas in line with some extreme factions within the Black Hebrew Israelite movement that have expressed anti-Semitic and other discriminatory sentiments. During the press conference, Irving was also asked about his decision to share a video created by far-right talk show host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who recently ordered to pay nearly $1 billion in damages to the Sandy Hook families for his lies about the massacre. Irving clarified that he did not agree with Jones' false claims that the Sandy Hook shooting was staged, but stood by sharing Jones' post in September about secret societies in America that Irving believed to be true. Isn't it crazy that in this country we're supposed to believe in freedom of speech and we're supposed to have this amendment protection and everything else, but yet when a Black person starts to exercise it, then it becomes an issue, then it becomes a problem. That in itself to me is just such a hypocrisy. We sitting up and now everybody's kind of worried that what's his name, Elon Musk has bought Twitter up, and we see that the N-word has risen like 500% or something like that. Now imagine if anti-Semitic hate had risen like 500%. They probably been to shut Twitter down right now. Imagine if all of the nasty anti-Jewish words and stuff was said about Jewish people. It had risen 500%. It'd be getting national attention right now. But it's okay for the N-word to rise up like that, which we knew it was going to rise up. We knew when Elon Musk bought Twitter that this word was going to rise up. We knew that we was going to see a fashion of the Proud Boys and all these other white extremist groups start to stick their head out and whatnot. But nobody's really been saying much about it whatsoever. So I just find that somewhat just strange in everything that's going on. Getting back to Kanye West. Kanye West was talking about the actual Jewish people in music and stuff and their control and this and that. And that people got pissed about that. I am not a Kanye West fan. You guys know, for any of you that's been in the actual space, I've never been a Kanye West fan. But Kanye West said some interesting things real quick. Let me go ahead and pull it out because he had this interview that went back from October 19th and the 14th. It says, Ye continues to amplify anti-Semitic trolls and conspiracy theories during an interview on Revolt's TV Drink Champs, a series that was posted then and removed October 16th. Ye repeatedly blame the Jewish media and the Jewish Zionists for numerous alleged misdeeds, stating that Jewish people have owned the Black voice and that the Jewish community, especially in the music industry, they'll take us and they'll milk us till we die, referencing the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. He also committed that he was me-tooing the Jewish community. I'm saying y'all all got to stand up and admit to what you've been doing. He doubled down on his anti-Semitism during the October 17th interview with Chris Cuomo on News Nation, criticizing the so-called Jewish underground media mafia and alleging that every celebrity has Jewish people in their contract. He also claimed that his life was threatened by Jewish managers and lawyer and accountant due to his political beliefs. On both Drink Champs and Cuomo, Ye repeated his previous offense that Black people cannot be anti-Semitic, that we are Semite, we Jew, so I can't be an anti-Semite. And you know when you say something like that you can't be an anti-Semitic and that you a Jew, you know that you just struck a nerve right there. I'm not even going to read the rest of it because we pretty much already know that Kanye was, he was saying a lot of different stuff. Kanye at times is off his meds and whatnot, but whenever you start sitting up here and you start having Black people, that's like one of the major things to be actually anti-Semitic. When you start sitting up here and you're saying that your roots go back further than these people, basically they feel like you're saying that they're not original, they're not real, that they are crooks and they're thieves and stuff like that. So yeah, you're going to catch some feedback right there. Right now, it's getting really hot. Black men are now the face of anti-Semitism. It used to be these white folks in the deep South and whatnot. When you thought about all of the negativity that came about the Jewish community and stuff like that, it was normally white folks in the South. and their comments and stuff like that. But now it's a blackface attached to it. Whatever celebrity, Nick Cannon, he'll tell you about it. But Nick Cannon got straightened out. I have a hard time believing that you're going to straighten out Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was one that went ahead and said that he wasn't going to take the COVID shot. He lost supposedly anywhere from $40 to $100 million by not playing most of that season, off endorsements and salaries and everything else. So I find it hard to believe that he's going to be to the point he's going to be brought to his knees the same way that Nick Cannon was. In the same way, I eventually think that Kanye West will as well too. But this is going to be interesting to see this thing play out. I want to shout out Professor. Professor, I see you up in the space tonight. Professor, what's going on? I know you probably got a lot that you would like to add to this, and I haven't heard you in a minute in the space. So welcome aboard, bro.
Hey, thank you there, Newstoter, man. As always, man, you hold great spaces, always great topics, and always getting the news out there to the people, man. That's what we have to have so we can know what's going on, and it's our job too, is to try to make sure that we retweet whatever you put out there for our community to know. So I appreciate that. You and DJ, man, y'all always do a great job, and of course Ray, he out doing things for his family. And by the way, happy Halloween to everybody in space. For all the ones that do celebrate it, because I don't, to be honest with you. But y'all, this topic has been very concerning to me with the anti-Semitism. I think they really are trying to make black men the face of this. It's very concerning because it's almost like if you just say something that's very true in regards to this community, they're going to come at you with this anti-Semitism label. It's very unfair. It's being thrown out there very unfairly. I think with what Kanye has said, and of course with Kyrie, neither one of these brothers have done really anything wrong. I'm just going to tell you like it is. I think we should be able to say things in regards to this community without being labeled as anti-Semites. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But I do think as a community, what concerns me with us is how quickly we will all turn on our people as soon as somebody comes with the label that they are anti-Semite. Our people will start jumping out on those people. And really what we should do as Black Americans is stand up to this, because this anti-Semitism is actually hurting all of us. This is a way to keep us down, y'all. It's another part of the white supremacy. As far as I'm concerned, we need to stand together against it, and that way it won't hurt black men like a Kyrie or Kanye. Now, I'm not saying I support Kanye all the way, y'all, because I know this dude been out there saying some crazy shit. But I don't like the fact that he's being targeted the way he is. I don't like the fact that Kyrie's being targeted. So I think the black community needs to stand firmly with the black brothers, okay? The Black American Freedmen brothers, okay? That's what I'm saying. I land my plane there.
Professor, real quick, let me ask you a question. What do you think would be the response of the national media, the global media, if 500, that if the actual the derogatory words of the Jewish people went up 500% here on Twitter? How do you think the media, the white media especially, will react to that?
I think it'd be some controversy, to be honest with you. It seems like anytime anything's mentioned about these folks, it's gonna be some heat behind it, even if the white media is saying it or whatever. But I think it just comes more heated with us because of who we are. You know what I'm saying? As Black Americans, it's gonna be more heat for us anyway. But I'm assuming you're trying to say, would that be like a difference, Newstoter? Is that what you're trying to say? Would it be kind of like a difference maybe in the way?
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. I'm saying in terms of the media coverage, because people they talk about it and they mention that it's going up or whatever. LeBron James says something about the N word as well too, and people kind of like they shrug it off. But I'm saying if you had this happening and you had it going up 500% dealing with the actual with the Jewish community, you would have CNN, you would have NBC, you'd have CBS, you have MSNBC. They would be holding all kind of town halls and this and that. They would be talking about changing the way Twitter is run and this and that. They be running Elon Musk under the ground. But the fact that it's black people, and let's be for real, for all the times that we've been banned on Twitter for saying certain things, posting certain things, you got people sitting up here that drop the N word daily. And these people aren't getting banned like that. These people aren't their accounts aren't being suspended. They haven't been hit like that. I seen somebody had a damn space one time talking about nigga in it. Down in black people talking about nigga in it. And their account wasn't suspended or banned or anything like that. So that's just
see, that's always been the case when it comes to us, man. Because for us, we're not really. I mean, let's just be honest, man. When it comes to Black America, man, people just don't give a shit about our causes, our feelings, and our concerns and our needs. They don't care. But when it comes to everybody else, they put them first, especially that community, the Jewish community. They put them up there. The Jewish community, I'm just gonna put it out there, man. They control a lot of this out here, this media. They run a lot of it. So therefore, when you run a lot of this stuff, a lot of this power is in your favor. So you can control the narratives. And Black Americans, I think what's hurting us, man, is we don't control anything. And let's just get down to the bottom of it, man. We don't control anything. And I think that's where, what's his name? Robert Johnson. That's where it hurt for him to sell BET, because that was something that actually belonged to us as Black Americans. See, that was media that belonged to us. But see, now you don't have anything, right? So they control all of that. I think I just read somewhere where this Viacom, who owns BET now, is run by a Jewish woman. I can't remember her name. I saw her picture, but I think her family owns it. Well, she runs it, but her family owns it. And so, see, this is what I'm talking about. They now control BET. That family controls BET. Viacom is part of that, see? So they control a large part of all of this that gives them the power over us. And they can make us look really bad. They make us look like creeps, monsters, just people that just hate everybody. But they're going to make themselves look like victims, and that's what they're doing. They're making themselves look like victims. They're keeping that story alive about the Holocaust. But at the same time, nobody's talking about the Black Holocaust that's been going on for years, see? So they are hurting us, y'all. They control everything. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but they are.
You make a valid point there, because people looked at you sideways when they mention the Holocaust, and then Black people. I can remember back in the 90s, Black people talked about the Black Holocaust. It's like, well, y'all was slaves. Y'all wouldn't know Holocaust. It's like it's two totally different things. It's like we didn't experience a Holocaust for hundreds of years and stuff. Like we can't, like nothing in the world's comparable. So whenever we say, well, we went through a Holocaust too, and people are like, well, that wasn't a Holocaust. Y'all was just slaves. So it's that kind of mindset that, the media and even the historians want to play around with us and stuff like that. Look at the way we get left out of history, the way they're trying to change things around in history right now. They're trying to talk about Black people like you basically came over here and that you were just almost a indentured servant and all this kind of nonsense with this stuff that they're trying to redefine when they talk about this, the critical race theory, and they're trying to explain things away, and they're trying to smooth things out, and they're trying to do this and they're trying to do that and whatnot. This is why it's important to have your own media apparatus. This is why it's important to control your own community. This is why it's important to control the narrative as well too, that we don't control. Because right now, any and everything goes when it goes to black people. Anybody can write anything about us. You can just throw it against the wall and see if it sticks, and if it sticks, and it's a fact or whatever. So this is the thing that really, I'm starting to see this. It's just like the Asian thing. When we remember at the height of the pandemic, all of a sudden, all of the Asian hate crime and stuff that was going on, it was black people. We black people were the perpetrators of all the Asian hate crime. Black people are the ones that suffer more hate crimes than anybody else in the country combined almost. And they sitting up and they're trying to make black people the face of it. So whenever something starts to go sideways and they need a scapegoat, it's always, we got to find us a black face to put to this. So all of a sudden now black people, you remember Mel Gibson back in the early to mid 2000s, Mel Gibson went on his rant talking about black people and Jewish people and this and that. And you thought Mel Gibson was going to be canceled permanently. Like, oh, damn, that's Mel Gibson's career there. Mel Gibson ain't going to never come back, boy. Mel Gibson done this and that. Mel Gibson is still around. Mel Gibson still gets love. Mel Gibson's father had all kind of Nazi ties and everything else, what people allege and stuff like this and that. Yet Mel Gibson is still around. See, it gets to the point, if you're black and you start and you say, and if it's deemed insensitive and it's at a certain group, they find a way to cancel you and to minimize your impact and stuff like that. That's the thing we don't fight for as black people right there. I mean, you can, and you don't have to go out and just go on a full racist rant. You can say something that's deemed insensitive. Kyrie Irving didn't say anything. Kyrie Irving, what did he do? What, he retweeted something?
Yeah, that's all he did. He retweeted something on that's on Netflix. Or was it Netflix or
Amazon? On Amazon, they got no heat for it. Netflix and all the rest of these things and everybody else, the History Channel, all of them could put out all kind of stuff about black people. And all my man did was retweet. He ain't sit up and say, I agree 100%. And even he said it, doesn't he have freedom of speech? He can't believe. Okay, religion is based on faith anyways. So he can't have the belief, the faith that his people are also, God's people, that his people are the true Hebrews and stuff like that. Like that just goes against, I guess, reality whenever a black person says that. And you see how even in the wording and stuff like that, they're talking about the black Hebrew Israelites and this and that, and they're trying to, it's still cold language and cold words being thrown out. So this is, like I said, this is very, very upsetting right here, because I got a feeling that they're not through. They're not done sitting up here trying to point black people and make black men in particular the face of hatred. So if we can go ahead and we can say that black people are just as racist as everybody else in the country, then there's really no racism. Racism is equal and this and that. I like to know, when do black people stop the Jewish community from doing anything in America? When do black people went out their way to hurt Jewish people? How have black people impacted the lives of Jewish people in a negative way? Nobody can sit up here and they can point to any examples like that. Okay, what have black people ever done to Jewish people? Black people never had no issue with Jewish people. Black people, I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm wrong, anybody in this space, let me know. When have black people done anything to Jewish people? When have black people mess Jewish people over? When have black people F them over? Let me know, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's a history lesson, and I'm here to be taught as well. Please teach it to me. When have black people done anything to Jewish people?
I can't think of anything, man, that we ever done to these people, because at one time, black Americans and Jewish people marched along besides, right beside each other during the civil rights movement. So, I mean, as far as I know, we kind of always had mutual feelings for each other because of kind of I won't say really similarities, but I guess you could say some similarities of history, with them going through the Holocaust, and then, of course, with us going through our situation in America with slavery. Really, it's the Black Holocaust. So the two communities seem like they kind of were getting along, but then somewhere down the line, it changed. I remember, hearing about the situation up in New York, where there was what was it? The Crown. I think it was what Crown Heights, where I think it was Jewish people, maybe two Jewish people, or maybe it was one Jewish man hit two African American children, ran them over, and it seemed like there was some dissension right there with the communities, and it's like it spread it across the country. I can't remember what year that was. I guess it was in the 80s when that happened. But see, y'all, that's what I'm saying. These two communities for a long time were kind of right there together, marching besides each other, and now it's like now there's this tension, and but it's look like it's intentionally being done to label black men in a way that shut us up. I sometimes wonder if this got something to do with this whole Democratic shit, because Black Americans have turned away from the Democratic Party for the most part. I'm wondering if it's got something to do with that. Y'all tell me what y'all think, because that's my theory right now with this whole thing.
Absolutely, brother. Let me get to Numi, because I'm kind of interested to hear what she's got to say about this as well too. So go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm fine. I don't think it's not what we did to them. It's the different era, and it's how we're waking up now, and we're aware of the things that they've done, and they hear a lot of things that we know who we are, and know that they're not who they are. And they don't have control like they used to, because they used to always have control, because they always followed behind the civil rights and acted like they care about us. But at the same time, they were setting us up to be in control of us and make sure they look out for themselves, for what was going on with the white supremacy and them. So and like Kanye, he has freedom of speech, and he built his own self up with the money. You see what I'm saying? And also, Kanye is bipolar. So when you're bipolar, things just come out your mouth. And that's another reason why I think they did what they did, like with his money, because they don't want him to slip up and start telling the real truths about them, because they always want to look like they help pay for something, but at the same time, they're stabbing you in the back and scheming and setting you up because they are financial wizards, and they're killing us too. But they always want to look like, feel sorry for them. No. And so they can't let us get any further. We didn't do nothing to them. They know we didn't do anything to them. It's just that you can't let that black man get over you, and you can't let the truth come out. That's how I feel.
Thank you. I appreciate that. DJ, you got something you want to add real quick?
Hey, peace out, family. Reparations up, Newstoter up. A little under the weather, so excuse the voice. But little story. I don't work for Jews before in my lifetime. So one day I'm working for a particular group of Jewish people. And, not to say all of them, but some of them do got a slave working mentality, like they will work your ass to the bone. You know what I'm saying? So me and another brother, we unloaded a whole truck, of furniture one day up in the Brooklyn apartment. You know what I mean? Excuse me, Harlem. We was in Harlem that night. So we, the foreman that was running the building that night, it's 11 at night, 11:30 at night. He trying to go home. We still unloaded. Now, keep in mind, the boss, he never said there's no help, no extra workers. So, we get home, the next day, I ain't calling into work. I ain't coming into none of that shit. I'm hurt right now. You know what I mean? So I get the phone call. Hey, yo, you didn't do this, just screaming, yelling. Hey, look, get on my back with that Jewish rhetoric. Oh, what you mean by that? You know exactly what the fuck I mean. The problem is with you people, you don't pay attention to shit that's going on around the world to even know what another group of people or demographic even think about you. So once I said it to him like that, it was whatever. And I wasn't planning on coming back to work anyway because I'm done. But I'm getting calls to come back to work. No, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So to piggyback off of what you said, they may try to make Kyrie an example, but I don't think so, because if he walked away from playing basketball, something he loved to do, and he walked away from all his money and everything else, I think Kyrie gonna be all right. Kanye, on the other hand, he getting this Negro wake-up call. So it's like, he might get dog walk somewhere down the line, but, hey, I support Kanye and Kyrie. They said nothing wrong, did nothing wrong, didn't threaten anybody, didn't talk shit about anybody. So basically, these folks are allowed to call us all types of words and, say whatever it is they want to say. Like you said, the Twitter, on Twitter, the word nigga went up 500% the moment Elon took hold of the office. Yeah, can you imagine some, hell Hitler, fuck Jews and shit, you know what I'm saying? And that shit went up 5%, 500%. Man, like you said, man, the whole internet will be shut down. They would they would literally cut the cable line that's buried under the ocean to the internet. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's not that we got a problem with anybody. It seems like that y'all got the problem with us. And yeah, Professor, it might have been a time that with Negroes and Jews in America had walked side by side for whatever the reason. But when you got corporations and organizations like the ADL who's saying this is anti-Semitic and it's defamation, man, where and how? Sway, like, come on, man. I'll yield there for a moment.
Yeah, bro, I forgot you was under the weather too, but I'm glad you went ahead and you dropped that and just gave us a little bit of hindsight of your work experience and whatnot too. So definitely peace to you. And
just for that rhetoric too, and it's Jews, they employ a lot of our people, but at the end of the day, this type of what's the word I'll be looking for? This type of issues shouldn't be tolerated amongst our people. When you saying people like Kyrie or Kanye, because he said he going DEFCON 3, he ain't threatening nobody. That means he's just about to verbally go ham on your ass. So at the end of the day, this goes back to what Professor said, and I keep saying 1,000 times. And Professor, we can say this shit till we blow in the face. We don't control anything, we don't own anything, and therefore meaning we can't say anything. Hey, Kyrie, you got enough bread, bring back the Negro League, so go join Ice Cube in the Big Three. You ain't got to play ball no more. You know what I'm saying? You won a championship already with LeBron, so it's like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Real talk. Let me go ahead and get to original. Also, y'all, in the Jumbotron, you will see the actual Newstoter newsletter and the actual YouTube channel as well too. So guys, go ahead. If you're in the space, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the newsletter as well too. I know I haven't put anything out in the newsletter in a while, but go ahead. I'm gonna start back. We're gonna start and get that functionality back running up. So please go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter and also subscribe to the actual YouTube channel as well too. It's right there in the Jumbotron. We ain't got much stuff in the Jumbotron, so it's easy to find tonight. Go ahead and subscribe while we're right here in the space right now. All you gotta do is click it. You'll still be listening to the actual Twitter space going on as well too. So let me get the original, then I'm gonna get to Miss Nichols after that. So original, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Peace and reparation. Black power. I think this has more to do with controlling the narrative. See, years ago, I was part of this online group, and we were reading. They had reissued the original version of W.E.B. Du Bois' Souls of Black Folks. And so everybody got the book, and we decided to read the book. And so the host that was reading the book, on air, he got to a point whereby he was talking about these people that was coming down to the South after the Civil War, and they was exploiting the issues down here in the South. And what Du Bois initially wrote, it was the Jews. So Spingard and those other people who founded the NAACP, because everybody needs to understand that it's not a black organization. Black folks don't own or control any part of that organization. When that organization was founded, Du Bois and Ida B. Wells, there may have been another black person there, but Ida B. Wells wanted to only advocate for black folks. They got rid of her. So that's how they operate. So when they reissued the book in its original format, it had the word Jew in there. But some people that was on the book reading, they had another version of it, and what they identified those people as were immigrants. Okay, so that's what this is about. Anytime somebody tells the truth about this group of people, they will come after you. There is a book. This is an old text. This book comes out of the 90s, and it is called The Holocaust Industry. It's by Norman G. Finkelstein. and it says reflection on the exploitation of the Jewish suffering. And he talked about how they would just go and shake people down for money using the Holocaust, and they would come after people saying that that's what this whole anti-Semitic thing is about. It is about putting people back in line and putting them under control. That you can't say anything about them, but they can say whatever they want to say about you. When I look at how they control the music industry, look at back when what's her name, C. Dolores Tucker, she was going after these music companies because of all the negative stereotypes that was going out there about black people and specifically black women. You know, they had black women out there looking like whores and this, that, and whatever, and they thought that was fine. But see, this is what happens. It's just like what DJ said, because we don't own this stuff. And until people understand that we have to begin to own what we have to begin to own our culture and stop going through other people. See, I call that the Jesus effect, whereby you got to go through somebody that don't look like you to use your craft. That craft is innately within you. And especially the way things are now, you should be able to create your craft and go out there and make money. And it is not about selling to the entire world. You got to understand, you have black people are your bait. And if you can't effectively communicate with, then you need to go somewhere else. Because see, when you go out and you dependent on other people to buy your product, and you ain't got your black base, they own and control what you say and what you do. So people need to understand that. But I just want to share that and see, and I think what's going on, because see, even some of them, they have been putting out information about how that particular group of people operate against everyone else. There's another book called the Bible Unearthed, and that book it documents how for instance, there was no mass exodus from Kemet during that time period. But I got into an argument with someone, and I told him, I said, look, I need you to go through research on when the pyramids on the Giza Plateau was built, then you do other research and see when did Ramses the Great or Ramses II ruled Kemet. They're on two different sections of the timeline. So all this stuff that they propagate out there with the Ten Commandments and they built the pyramids, did this. No, there is no way they could have done that because those pyramids were built before Ramses came into ruin. And so people need to just understand that it is past time that, and I understand some of what I'm saying may sound offensive to some people because due to religion. And I do apologize if I have offended you. But at the end of the day, we have to get back to the truth. We have to get back to studying and moving things in a way that's going to benefit us. We have to become number one with us and stop because of a certain religious belief. You gonna come out and say, well, no, it's this way, it's that way, whatever. No, we got to get with that. And let me just say this right here. See, several years ago, there was a guy on CNN. His name is Rick Sanchez. He's part of the Spanish people. I don't know which branch he's from.
Rick Sanchez from Miami. He's from Miami. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, what's his name? Jon Stewart, and I think the little weird-looking boy that took over from David Letterman. They were attacking Rick Sanchez for whatever reason. They would come out and attack people, and then Rick Sanchez, he was on CNN, and he made a statement. He said, well, they own the media, then CNN fired Rick Sanchez. See, that's how they operate. And here's another issue. Now, Whoopi Goldberg, this is why I don't rock with her. When she came onto the few years ago, she went on this tirade using the N-word. She wasn't suspended. But then when she said something about the Jews, she got suspended for a week or two, right? See, this is it. And I'll tell you this, I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm going to say this one thing. See, when I lived in California, Dr. Lenny Jeffers was in town. And so he was on this guy's show. He had a little talk show in LA. I don't know if it hit across the country. His name is Dennis Prager. He's of the Jewish belief. So Prager was telling Dr. Jeffries saying something about, well, how can you be African and whatever. And Dr. Jeffrey said, well, it's in my, it's in my DNA. I'm paraphrasing now. So the word went out to have as many people as possible to get down to that studio to help support Dr. Jeffrey. And so one brother got to the studio and he was able to get in. And this went over just beautifully. So Dennis Prager had been telling Dr. Jeffrey that he couldn't be African. And he had made a comment before, something about him being white. So the question to Dennis Prager was, and it happened so beautifully, the question was, how can you be white and Semitic at the same time? And that was the end of the show, and it ended with that. I mean, it was just flowing. And so this is what happens with a lot of this stuff, that they want to control the narrative. They want to tell everybody that they're special, they are God's favorite people or whatever. But that's what basically is going on. And I'll land my plane with that. I didn't mean to go on so long.
No, you good, brother. You good. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for contributing to the conversation, and stick around too, because like I said, y'all, we touching on this, and we gonna also touch on affirmative action too, because the Supreme Court with all those conservatives on this, conservative judges, 6 of them and stuff, and of course your boy Clarence Thomas up here leading the way as always. They're trying to go ahead and get rid of it. So we're going to touch up on this. We did the anti-Semitism, affirmative action. This is the space right here tonight that we're going to be discussing these issues. So please, by all means, also, if you guys can, support us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned American news curation platform today in America. Once again, that is $Newstoter. $Newstoter. Miss Nichols, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, thank you so much for holding this space and allowing me to speak. Thank you to everybody else in the room. So I know there's just been a lot of the talk about anti-Semitism, so I had to look up the definition just to make sure that I understood what was going on, because you hear it growing up and it's almost like you are brainwashed and conditioned that, okay, can't do anything, but you don't know what it is that you can't do. You're just trying to figure out where the fence is. So I looked up the definition, and this is according to International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Let's do the basic Google search. This is anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community, institutions, and religious facilities. Now, just to give you a little bit of background about me, I'm a paralegal, so I tend to take things literally as they are. And when I read this, it's very broad, and it's very much a catch-all. You could tell somebody, I don't like your pinky toe, and they could say you're being anti-Semitic with a definition like this. And I know that might sound strange, but I'm so glad there's a professor on here so I can ask him, like, am I crazy? Am I not? But what I've seen is it just seems like brainwashing, and it's very cultish. It is very much like a cult, where I have been a part of a cult before, so glad I'm not in anymore, and I've been abused before, emotionally and verbally. And so I know what it's like to be in that mental state where you kind of got somebody slapping you around mentally till you get that Stockholm syndrome where you're programmed to stay inside the fence, even though there's no fence. And that's what I see with anti-Semitism. It is really just a way to control people. It's not really about the offense. It is really about the cult of that personality. So I guess my question is towards the professor, am I getting this correctly or am I off base?
No, you are 100 on the money, sister. This is a means to control us. And this is why I was saying earlier, our people need a basis of control in this country. Because until we get that, we're going to be labeled as anything by anybody. They can take us anywhere and do anything with us because we don't have any basis of control for anything in here. And that's why it was so important when Robert Johnson had BET. That was some control of the narrative. That was a way for Black people to market and put our story out there. But see, he sold that off to the Jews. They own that now.
Yeah.
Viacom, who owns BET, is owned by the Jews.
Yeah, very true.
So I'm gonna stop though, because I didn't mean to.
Okay, that's okay. And thank you for answering my question. And yes, Viacom, they're like Pac-Man. They own like everything. They own CBS. They got MTV, VH1. I mean, it was worse than, I won't say worse, but I will say it was very comparison to when Disney bought ABC. And I was actually working, not for Disney, but Disney was a client for the company I was working for. And so when they made that acquisition, they bought up all the TV stations and radio stations and affiliates and newspapers associated with ABC. And that's major control for a movie studio, technically. And so I just, like I said, just, getting back to my point, not to tangent, I really see anti-Semitism as a cult of behavior. Not a cult itself, but a cult of behavior to condition people. If you step outside the fence, we're going to say this to keep you inside the fence. And I'll end there.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. You guys make sure you follow this sister as well, too. So definitely go ahead and follow her. Quick question, Ms. Nichols. Are you still trying to run for president as well?
Yes, I am still running for president.
Okay, so just if you don't mind, and we guys are going to get back to it. If you don't mind sharing your platform real quick, if that's okay with you, just so for the people in the space to hear.
Okay, really quick, and thank you for allowing me to speak again about my campaign. My name is Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I'm running for president of the United States in 2024. My platform is God, Family, and Health, and the focus under that is voter rights, education, and healthcare, definitely with an emphasis on reparations and an anti-Black hate crime bill. Have to say that one slow because I'm in the process of, just really crafting verbiage around it. So when I'm asked about it, I can definitely give an account. But I definitely agree with Professor, and I think there was another, Original Blood. He also spoke to it too, that we need to have more definition of what is happening to us. With the Emmett Till bill, it does not define a free Black American slave can no longer be lynched. It just says a race cannot be lynched. And we really have to get the definition into our Constitution that slavery is over and the treatment of slavery is over. Because I think until we actually have it in concrete, in black and white, it's still going to continue to happen. So my website is www.nicholsforpresident.com. And I don't know how to put anything in the Jumbotron, but I will put it in the comment section. Thanks for letting me speak.
No problem, sister. No problem. If you tweeted something out, you can always just share it directly into the space. You just go to your, I believe if you bookmark something or even if you tweet something out, you just click share and you can add it to the space that way. That's the way I add it. So DJ knows a little bit more about it. But once again, thank you for just letting everybody hear your views about this topic and as well just explaining your platform. So we're gonna get the Black Pressure and we're gonna get the Black Native. Black Pressure, what's going on, man? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's up, fam, man? Peace to the Black family. Respect, host and co-host. So news.
What's going on?
You made an excellent observation. I shout out to Professor too. Made an excellent observation about, I think Professor said, what have Black people ever done to Jews? Okay? So you follow me on this. Let me unpack this real quick, okay? It is not that we did them anything. The beef between Black people and the Jews is a blood feud, okay? So I know this is going to sound contrary coming from me because I make it clear I'm not religious, okay? I'm not religious. I won't say at all. Not that I'm not a religious person, okay? The blood feud with that give you is history, archaeology, and ancient literature. Okay, yes. And I knew you might want to take a picture because you don't hear this coming from me often. Historically and through archaeology and, like I say, ancient texts, Black people are those original, what pop culture today would call Israelites. They are those original Northern African coastal people, the same bloodline that produced the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, and the Israelites. So that's where you get your Hannibal Barca from. That's where you get your King David. And yes, historically he existed, and that's where you get that same bloodline that produced the person to this day that we call Jesus. Those are those original Black people that were the first Hebrews. Okay, so where you can tie all this in together is you can go to this dude. I think his name was like Gamal Abdel Nasser. He was I want to say he was the second president of Egypt in like the late 50s, and he made it clear. He said that the European Jew will never be able to live in Palestine in peace because he said they left Black and came back white. So this is a blood feud from thousands of years ago. Though I think someone alluded to it. Those people actually know who we are, and they know who they aren't, and they're assuming an identity. Now, what I'll do is I'll concede to the Black family that's religious, and I'll let them tell you the when and why. I don't have those answers, but I know that, like I say, the Black family that's religious, they can answer that better than me, better than I can. You can even go to the Civil War. All those Jewish generals that fought on the Confederate side. You got Abraham Charles, you got Judah P. Benjamin, you got David Yulee. All those were European Jews that fought for the Confederacy to uphold the institution of slavery. So, like I said, I reiterate, this is a blood feud. These people have hated us before the transatlantic slave trade occurred. These people know exactly, and like I say, not religious. This is historical. These people know exactly who the real Jewish people are, or what you would call a Jew. And second thing, and I'm gonna unpack all this real quick. The civil rights movement, I know I'm about to break some hearts, but I heard professors say that, Black people and Jewish people marched shoulder to shoulder during that time, and he is absolutely right about that. But like I said, I know I'm about to break some hearts. The civil rights movement was not financed by Black people, nor was it controlled by Black people. So all those pictures you see of, those people marching, I want to say that was in Selma, shoulder to shoulder and all that, that was all propaganda. Now, our elder Martin Luther King, he was legit, and his immediate associates, they were legit. Their hearts were in the right place, but a lot of that stuff that we get in school and in the mass media, that was total propaganda. And I'll say this too, and I'm gonna end with this. And News, I have no issue with being a villain. So I'll say this. I'll start with Kyrie. Yeah, we want to come to our brother's defense. Of course I do. But let's not have, as a Black family, let's not have short memories, because we can go back a few years when Kyrie Irving threw that yacht party, and he didn't allow any Black women to come. It was all white women that came. So he wants to live in this duality where a few years ago he was claiming the Mongolian Native American. He came from that. Now you're the original Hebrew. Which one is it, man? But like I said, I still would come to Kyrie's defense, because he can be reasoned with. The brother sounds like he might be getting some good information from somebody in his ear. But Kanye West, now you take this guy here. Of course, a lot of us want to run to his defense, but let's not forget what the man said. The man said slavery was a choice, right? I want everybody to look in the mirror and think of our great foreparents that got marched out of the guts of slave ships and chains and got hung from their necks, got burned alive, had to witness the most brutal forms of sexual assault by men and women. And you telling me Black people signed up for some shit like that? We raise our hand and say, man, that's what I want. Really, as far as you can get mad at me all you want. Kanye West can go to hell. I don't care anything about him. Like I said, I can reason with Kyrie. Kyrie isn't an idiot like Kanye West is. And then to turn around and say that George Floyd didn't he died from a fentanyl overdose. I'm serious, man. The white folks can kill Kanye for all I care. The dude is totally off his rocker, totally disrespectful, and I don't even want to deal with him. And I'll land my plane there.
Black Pressure, that's my dog there. I knew he was gonna come through and say some stuff. I knew he was gonna come through and say some stuff. I was just waiting on it, bro. I was glad to hear you come in here. I knew you was gonna say something. So glad as always. We're gonna get the Black Native too, and then y'all, we're gonna touch up on this actual affirmative action stuff that's going on as well too. So we're gonna flip flop between both of them. Y'all know I just put it out there so we can go back and forth or whatever. But we're gonna flip flop between both of them. Black Native, what's going on, sister? It's been a little minute.
What's up, Newstoter? Peace and reparations. Peace to the family. Peace, DJ. What's up, Mr. Professor?
What's going on, sister?
Black Native.
Yeah, I want to address this topic. What is the last brother? What's his name?
Black Pressure? Yeah.
Yeah, what he said, it is a blood feud. And I just want to clarify, it's not anti-Semitic, it's anti-Shemitic. Because the lineage of people are called Shemitic people. They come from the line of Shem. So that I just wanted to clear that. So they made that name up. What's his name? Kyrie Irving. I think from what I'm understanding, he was trying to learn about, being a Hebrew, which is what I am. I'm an Israelite. And they told him that he couldn't watch a documentary from Hebrews to Negroes. Where they do that at? That's all I want to say. They have really lost their minds, where they feel like they can control Black people and tell us what we can and can't say and what we can and can't watch. And, we've allowed it. A lot of our people have cowed down when they under pressure, when they start calling these people anti-Semitic, a.k.a. Nick Cannon, a.k.a. Whoopi Goldberg, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving. And I had a list, and I don't know if who's ever in this room probably heard me read this list. I was looking at how they were doing Nick Cannon in 2020, and I screenshotted this off of my television. And it's a list of Black people, and this was August 26, 2020, and they were, this is when they were going after Nick Cannon and, demasculating him on national television, and he went on an apology tour for about a year and gave to the Jewish community. And one of the rabbis that actually came on his show, Cannon's class, if y'all all recall, that's where he said those statements, which were true. That same rabbi was accused of, what he was stealing money from poor Black people, swindling them out of their homes and all kind of stuff. This is the same rabbi that sat across from Nick Cannon. So this is, still playing the game. But I want to read this list, and I don't know if you know, these are all the Black people throughout the years that they've accused of anti-Semitism. And I can put it also in the Jumbotron.
That's fine. That's fine, too. Go ahead. You can read it and put it in there.
Yeah, it's off of my TV screen because I took this in 2020, and I just so happened to be, watching the dismantling of Nick Cannon. Okay, so this says false charges of anti-Semitism. Booker T. Washington, and then they had W.E.B. Du Bois, and they had Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Julian Bond, Kwame Ture, Andrew Young, Kwame Tume, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Joseph Lowery, Black Lives Matter, James Baldwin, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Alice Walker, Michael Jackson, Spike Lee, Ice Cube, Arsenio Hall, Muhammad Ali, Public Enemy. And we can add on to this list, which I'm surprised they didn't have Louis Farrakhan or Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I'm surprised they weren't on that list, but we can add Nick Cannon, Whoopi Goldberg, what's this, Kanye West, and Kyrie Irving. So this is what they do. And it was a white woman who was a Jewish woman who said they use anti-Semitism to control, like the sister just said, to control you. They know you're not doing anything wrong, but they'll throw that out there, just to try to discredit you or control you. So just to silence people for whatever reasons, to show control and brainwashing. So this is what they've been doing. I don't know what Desmond Tutu. I could have swore he won a Nobel Peace Prize. What could he have said that was anti-Semitic, or any of the other Black people that's on that list? And it's going to continue, and it's going to grow. You know what I'm saying? Until we say, hey, wait, hold on a minute. What is this? We're noticing a pattern with you people, and you have to be checked. You can say nigga, 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 nigga all day long on the radio, in movies, on television, and it's okay. But, you can't say, even if it's true. They own Chase Bank, they own Viacom, and if you say it, they went after Jay-Z too. You're called anti-Semitic. It's all a game. Now, with the affirmative action, if they take that away from us, I mean, who's really benefiting? Isn't it white women at this point that's benefiting from affirmative action? So if they do decide to remove it, I think they're going to harm white women more so than us. And I'll land my plane on that. Thank you.
You're welcome, sister. And you named some names on there. You went way back to Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King. What in the hell what anti-Semitic thing did Martin Luther King or Booker T. Washington or W.E.B. Du Bois say about the Jewish community? What did we miss here? What are we talking about right here? Some of the names you may say, okay, well, Farrakhan, being Muslim and stuff like that. You can see some of the brothers on there might be Muslim, and you may have, we know that between Judaism and Islam and stuff like that, you're going to have maybe some biblical conflicts and stuff like that. But what in the world with Martin Luther King and Booker T. Washington, W. Du Bois, basically people that were born slaves and stuff, people that really had, what in the world would they say about the Jewish community to be considered anti-Semitic? To me, that's a head scratcher there.
Yeah, I was scratching when I saw Desmond Tutu, Bishop Desmond Tutu.
Word.
Wasn't he one of the most peaceful men on the planet? I'm trying to figure out,
I'm trying to.
He was in jail for 29 years, 28 years. What could he have possibly said? When you lock this man up for fighting for liberation for his country for 28 years. So I'm going to post that in the Jumbotron if people want to take a look at the list of Black people that they've done this to since Booker T. Washington. They could have, what's the other Black man that was a slave, that was a very orator?
You talking about Frederick Douglass?
Yeah, I'm surprised they put Frederick Douglass up there.
You might as well, like anybody that was a major Black figure in this country, a political figure, they put up there. You named up there, so why not throw him in there for good measures as well? Good Lord.
Arsenio Hall show. Remember Arsenio Hall?
Oh yeah, when Arsenio had Farrakhan on there, that was it. I was in high school, at the time, and that was right around the Million Man March, and they told Arsenio, if you bring him on here. Now, Phil Donahue, who was one of the biggest talk shows and the first real major talk show host, Phil Donahue used to have Nazis on there, skinheads on there, Klan members on there, this and that. They ain't never said, if you bring them on there, Phil, we're gonna end up taking your show off of here. But they felt the need to go ahead and try to buck break Arsenio and give Arsenio his due. Arsenio went out like a man on this show. Arsenio look, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm gonna bring him on here, and they try to say, well, Arsenio's ratings was falling, and Arsenio, he had top level competition. Man, had Arsenio not brought Louis Farrakhan on there, Arsenio's show would probably been on like Johnny Carson. He'd have been on 20, 30 years and stuff like that. When he brought that on, that was the end of the Arsenio Hall show right then and there.
But but you remember Phil Donahue who was Farrakhan on his show, and Khalid Muhammad.
Yeah, he had both of them on there. Yeah.
Both of them was on his show.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Both of them were on the Phil Donahue show.
And Khalid, that interview with Khalid, that interview that he had with Khalid Abdul Muhammad on that good. And Khalid did not pull any punches. Like, wow.
Shout out to my sister that was in the audience that went ham on the Khalid interview. Whoever you and sister, big up, show.
Yes.
Yeah, Khalid.
Can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead and jump in real quick.
Yeah, just 10 seconds. Fun fact: you could put an asterisk by what's his name, W.B. Du Bois. Marcus Garvey and Booker T. Washington. He hated both of them, and that's just my fun fact for the day.
But they still classified him, even though him and the Jews were the founders of the NAACP. They still, I put the list in the Jumbotron. They still put him on that list as anti-Semitic, even though he was working with them. So what does that say?
And y'all actually forgot one too. Y'all forgot one important black figure in our history. One of the most important ones here recently that should be on that list.
Who's that?
Johnny Cochran.
Oh, yo, Jesus, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cochran definitely should be on that list. Yeah. Guess what? Remember Ron Goldman?
Oh.
And all the Jews came out and said Johnny Cochran hates the Jews. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Robert Shapiro, who was on the Dream Team, who Johnny Cochran ended up replacing and stuff, got upset, felt that Johnny Cochran played the race card to get OJ off. And let's not forget, Robert Shapiro is also Jewish and stuff. He did not like that.
That's right.
Real quick, he wanted OJ to go ahead. He thought OJ was going to go ahead and basically take a plea deal. When he saw that wasn't going to work or whatever, then, your boy got upset. It was his idea to play to use race into it, but then Johnny did it so great. Johnny took it to a level that nobody probably in the world could have done. I mean, and that just pissed him off. I'm going to get to you.
I'm Jewish. I'm a black Jewish man.
Who's a black? Who just said that? Who just said they're a black Jewish man? Somebody said a black Jewish person. Is that you, Jake?
I just heard him. I don't know who said it.
That must be the new. That must be Jay. Jay, did you say you're a black Jewish man?
I ain't say this shit, bro. I
Okay. All right.
No, but you know what? No, we are the convention, bro. I ain't saying Jews are crazy, but on the G. I'm from Chicago.
Real quick, Jay, we're gonna get to you. Just go ahead and raise your hand up. Because no issue. I'm gonna get to that. That's cool. We're gonna get to you. I want to go ahead and I want to touch up on this other article. So you guys keep your hands up. We're gonna get to you. Y'all can go ahead and get back to this as well too. I just want the people to actually hear this thing about the affirmative action. I know everybody that we pretty much on the anti-Semitism, and that's cool. Like I say, I just want to go ahead and put this other article out there real quick. Y'all can go ahead and inform me, go back to it as well too. So it's no issue with that at all. But this other one's from CNN, and it's the takeaways from the Supreme Court affirmative action cases. Conservatives may overturn precedent allowing race as a factor in admissions. Real quick, I'm just going to touch up on this, highlight this article real quick. It says conservative Supreme Court justices were hostile on Monday to the ongoing use of race-based affirmative action in college admissions. The court took nearly 5 hours to debate affirmative action policies at the University of North Carolina and Harvard. Based on Monday's arguments, the 6 conservative justices appear ready to end the use of affirmative action in admissions, overturning a precedent from 1978. Here are a few key takeaways. Conservatives say defenders of affirmative action can't articulate an endpoint. The conservative wing of the court harped on the lack of clarity around when the need for affirmative action would end. Multiple justices asked Ryan Park, the North Carolina Solicitor General, who is defending the UNC admissions program, to elaborate on how to measure that a school has achieved the diversity goals that would render affirmative action unnecessary. I don't see how you can say the program will ever end, Chief Justice John Roberts said during a pile-on that also included Justices Samuel Alito and Amy Barrett. Your position is that race matters because it's necessary for diversity, which is necessary for the sort of education you want, Robert said. It's not going to stop mattering at the same particular point. You're always going to have to look at race because you say race matters to give us the necessary diversity. Justice Brett Kavanaugh said the court will struggle if they're asked to review affirmative action again in 10 years. If you don't have something measurable that shows whether diversity goals have been achieved. Of course, we got our boy Clarence Thomas. Justice Clarence Thomas asked all three lawyers arguing in favor of the UNC's affirmative action program, who is representing the UNC students defending the program, to explain how racial diversity benefits the educational experience students receive. I may be tone deaf when it comes to all other things that happen on the campus about feeling good and all that, Thomas said. I'm really interested in a simple thing. What benefits academically are there to your definition or the diversity that you're asserting? When he proposed the question to Park, Thomas suggests that Park's response reminded him of the arguments he heard in favor of segregation. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned that if colleges are prohibited from making any consideration of race, it risks violating the Constitution's equal protection for students who will not be able to present that background in applications. I hear a process in which there's a form that says, tell us about yourself, and people can put all sorts of things. I'm Catholic, I'm from, Los Angeles, I'm Latina, whatever, she said. But now we're entertaining a rule in which some people can say the things they want about who they are and have that value in the system, but other people are not going to be able to, because they won't be able to reveal that they're Latino or African American or whatever. And I'm worried that this creates inequity in the system. Judge Sotomayor returned repeatedly to the statistics coming to schools in the states that have barred affirmative action. At one point, she raised those trends to push back on conservatives. Of the 25-year timeline period, Supreme Court said in its 2003 ruling sanctioning the use of race in admissions for affirmative action programs to no longer be necessary. Even your adversary said he didn't see the 25 years as a set deadline. It was an expectation, Sotomayor said to Park. What we know, we have 9 states who have tried it, and each of them, as I mentioned earlier, white admissions have either remained the same or increased, and clearly in some institutions, the numbers for the unrepresented groups have fallen dramatically. So that's where we're at right now on the affirmative action. I'm not going to hold you up. We got somebody requesting. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get to some of these new speakers. You guys you can go back and forth. You can talk about the anti-Semitism, and you can talk about the affirmative action. Before we get there, I just want to say this one thing. This affirmative action thing that we're talking about, this was spearheaded by white men mainly and Asians. Asians have been sitting up here saying that they've been discriminated against because of their high grades and this and that is unfair. They're talking about the practices that Harvard and other Ivy League schools do, that they're letting in people who are not as qualified as them to come into college, that is messing them up. So talk about the Asians and talk about white men as well, because white men never wanted this anyways, and now you got Asians who done benefit off the civil rights movement. That's why we keep telling y'all, stop going to the goddamn, excuse my language, stop going to the damn stores, stop spending money with these people. These people have used the civil rights movement to get upward mobility here in this country, and as soon as they got it, now they're giving you their behind the kiss right here. They're sitting up here with this whole model minority nonsense that we've been fueling for the goddamn 1960s. When they came over here in the 1800s, it was black people that had their back, going all the way back to Frederick Douglass. And this is the thanks we get. They're sitting up here in a damn program that was never meant for them anyways. They're sitting up here benefiting, and they're up here talking noise. They should have never been a damn beneficiary of affirmative action anyways. It was meant for one group of people. Now it's been splitting up. Everybody, white women, LGBTQ, the handicapped, the kids that are blind and the lost, everybody else gets this, and they sitting up here talking noise about, well, black people getting that simply because of their skin or their color. They're not qualified. They don't deserve to be at these Ivy League schools. So this is what you get. So the next time y'all go into the little Asian shops and you get your hair did, and you go to the damn and go get your fried pigeon at their restaurants and all this other nonsense, just remember who got your back. Okay, they done gave you their behind the kiss. So thank you very much for supporting these people who don't support you. Let's go to Numi's sister. I know you had your hand. Hey, everybody, make sure your mics are muted too as well, y'all. Numi, go ahead and unmute your mic, sister. Then we're gonna get to Insane. We're gonna get to Minx. So Y'all, I hear open mic, so somebody make sure you got your mic muted.
That's me, right? I'm not sure. Hold on, let me read it real quick just to make sure. But yeah, I just want to say this before Sister Newberg go. Asians never had our best interests at heart. They didn't build the railroads. Y'all was too weak and too frail to lift a railroad tie. Do you know this, the weight on a railroad tie, which is the wooden beam that goes parallel along the trucking tracks? Only a buck nigga can lift that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Keep it real. Y'all was too sick, frail from being in on the internment camps, not being funny about it, but y'all got to stop that shit. Also, y'all immigrants to this country. You're not natively born here. You know what I'm saying? We're not immigrants because we fought for our emancipation and we still fighting for it. So basically, it's just really a jealousy thing. So just to reiterate, Tyler, stop going to their nail salon, stop eating the dog and the cat they've been serving us since '88. Stop dealing with these people. And I also got a lot of Asian friends, all walks of life from all across Asia. Me posting things like we talk about on my timeline, Facebook, for the last decade. I never heard any of them say, hey, look, good, what happened? Well, you know why you say that? There's none of that. Just automatic dismissal. They don't even speak to you no more. So I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Sister Nobel.
Yes, I just think the Asians, they want everything that they can get off of us because that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of everything. And they don't even practically give us affirmative action anymore. It's mostly the white and the white women and minorities. And one thing I always hated that they always thought that black people just got it. No, you had to have like a high score, like maybe you got a 3.9 or 4.0, and they wouldn't give it to you just because you're black. That's why they did affirmative action, not because give us a chance to get in there. You had to have that score. And another thing, W.E. Du Bois, yes, they wanted him to watch Marcus Garvey, okay? But what happened is he started realizing what happened, so he got exiled. Then they put him on the list. They put Desmond Tutu on the list because he used to be talking about the global stuff that's going on way back then. And that's why they said that he was a white, what you call it?
Anti-Semitic.
Yes, everybody was anti-Semite if they said anything like that about global stuff or whatever, and he was able to speak out and everybody liked him. So yeah, they put him on that list. And when Martin Luther King started talking about what they did, this to us, that to us, when you said the word they knew that he was talking about them. So it's just all the way around. They just don't want you to say anything about them. Nope. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. We're gonna get to Insane, then we're gonna go to Minx, and then we're gonna move it back around the room. Oh, I see Trouble up in here too. So Trouble, your new speaker. So after Insane and Minx, you're gonna go ahead and get up in here too, because we want to get our new speakers. We want to hear everybody. This is a great discussion tonight, y'all going in, and I'm loving this. I'm just sitting back right now. Insane, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello, Toter, Kai, and to everyone else in the space, and to the presidential candidate, Shaki, in the space. Regarding this article about the Supreme Court and this debate, an article came out today, and I tweeted it out, questioning, the headline was basically saying, okay, if you're going to do away with affirmative action for schools, why not replace it with lineage-based criteria for those of us who are descendants of slaves? Which, if it were to do that, or if that were pushed, it would really probably kick the argument for reparations into high drive, more so than continuing to deal with affirmative action. But at any rate, we need one or the other, I believe. So, the Asians can whine about that, but certainly if you reduce it down to favoring descendants of slaves, you eliminate all of these other people, like Latinos whining about being treated fair, or Asians, or other people who claim minority status when it's convenient. So this stuff about Kyrie and Kanye, I think this is a moment to reflect on why the code or adhering to a certain code is so very important. So it matters not too much when someone says something that's off code, and then 1 minute they're saying something that might be interpreted as being on code.
Real quick, it's saying, Numi, I think your mic might be on. Hey, real quick.
Yeah, I muted you. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the importance of really, really focusing and reinforcing the notion of a code. Black Pressure Chamber and the other lady, the native, hit on some very important things about people historically who were accredited or attributed to have said something anti-Semitic. I think when we look at these people, we got to remember that there was a time when various things came out about these people that had Black people questioning some of the same people whom we hold high today. And I'll use King. There was a lot of controversy surrounding Dr. King. His beliefs about the Virgin Mary, resurrection of Jesus after his death. Those were controversies. And there was some stuff said about him having extramarital affairs, which a lot of people seem to think did happen. But that does not diminish what he said about us coming to Washington to get our check. But in that period of time, there were a lot of people who were probably very critical of Dr. King for having done or been suspected of doing such things. So I'm saying all of that to say this. Code is important. We need to focus on where we're trying to go and the truth of these statements that are being made. So that's a few some insights I just wanted to offer there. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And guys, make sure if you just got $1, support the new Black media, support the largest Black American owned news curation platform today in America, which is newstoter.com. Support us on Cash App or PayPal or Venmo. If you have $1 that you can contribute to the new Black media and a B1 FBA, that's right, because anybody that's Black and that's supporting Black people, Black Americans first. But for those that's out there in the diaspora that also that's going to support Black Americans, our reparation stance and stuff like that, as long as you're going to fight the fight with us, hey, we with you. Know what I'm saying? As long because we in a global fight against white supremacy right here. And white supremacy done brought enough other people around here, other different groups and ethnic groups to sitting up here casting stones, done benefited, up here trying to knock us as much as possible too. So support us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter. Once again, that's $Newstoter. Any amount you got will be greatly appreciated. Let's move this around the room. We're having a nice discussion. Let's go ahead and get the Minks. Minks, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I was listening to the young man who was talking about the Jewish people, historically, and the Black Israelites, and it being the Negroes of America. And there are several Jewish rabbis that believe this, and they've talked about it. And there are countless interviews and on YouTube. They're all over the place. And it's been going on for years. There's one Rabbi Harry on IG, and he actually has done some work with Amari Stoudemire, but there was a debate with him, and they had to go back to, the lineage, and he had to admit, it was him and a few other rabbis, they had to admit that, yes, it was true. And, about, the Negroes being historically being Israelites or Hebrews, and descendants of Abraham. So I don't know why, the Jewish people on a whole are like going crazy. This information's out there. It's in some of their encyclopedias. That stuff has been pointed out. So I don't know, what's going on. Maybe this is part of the cover-up before, because the truth is coming out. You just, you can't hide that. But I'll land my plane there. But I just don't understand why no one seems to know this. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you. Let me give a shout out to my co-host DJ. DJ, thank you for the contribution. Thank you for the contribution as we continue to support each other. This man supports me. I support him. So thank you, DJ. I appreciate that, brother. Let's go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Oh, we can't even hear you, Trouble. You there, sister?
It's like you're double in the matrix. Forgive you. You might want to drop down and come back up.
Yeah, that was I think if you
Can you hear me now?
okay, now we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, I have my Bluetooth on, and it normally switches me over when you hit the speaker thing on me, but not tonight. Good evening, everybody.
Somebody got an open mic. Okay, go ahead, Trouble.
DJ. Good evening, everybody. DJ.
Sí, habla español.
I think DJ, I think your mic, somebody mic might be on. So everybody make sure your mic is muted while Trouble speaks. Go ahead, Trouble.
That was DJ. Good evening, everybody, my beautiful black people. Much love to the space. Y'all have hit on some excellent points. And black native, black pressure. Y'all my peoples. Y'all came straight in exactly with what I was going to say. I would like to make a qualifier that I've been non-denominational the majority of my life since I stepped out of the church at 12 years old. But my husband is an Israelite, and I've been listening to his rants about this for the last several years. And so, even though I have my own type of spirituality, I can't help but say that the things make sense. It makes sense, and it's like it's sitting right there in front of our face. We just refuse to grasp it and take it in, me included to a certain degree. But as far as the Israelites is concerned, because when he said to me that the Hebrews fled from out of Africa and came here to the Americas because they were being hunted down, so they were here before Columbus. And when Columbus came, we have to keep in mind that he brought a Hebrew translator with him. So if we were not here, then why did he do that? So I'm just going to leave with that part right there. I'm going to leave that alone. As far as the agents and the affirmative action go, you know what I find hella funny is that they benefited from the model minority status until it didn't benefit them anymore. As long as they was benefiting from the model minority status, they were able to get jobs, they were able to get in schools, they were able to get loans, they were able to get anything that they wanted to because people looked at them as being smart, super got it going on. You could make that money, you could get that money. But then when it started coming out that they were cheating on those tests. Now, let's not forget they've been cheating on those tests. So now that status isn't necessarily benefiting them now. So now they want some affirmative action. Now they want to get in where they don't fit in or where they shouldn't be in. You feel me? I find that super funny. And it's like everybody is grasping to want to gain the things that we have fought for the longest period of time. And these Democrats come after us with the promises of these things, and they make it seem like they're going to give it to us. And then when it's enacted into law, everybody benefits but us. So that's what I wanted to say about the agents and the affirmative action. As far as I was trying to find why Desmond Tutu was considered anti-Semitic. After he died, that was some foolishness that Alan, what's his name, Dershowitz had came out because he said, and I'll just read quickly, he said he didn't talk about the Israel lobby. He talked about the Jewish lobby. He minimized the suffering of Jews during the Holocaust. He said that getting killed in gas chambers was an easy death compared to the apartheid. He said that Jews claimed a monopoly on the Holocaust. He demanded that Jews forgive the Nazis for killing them. Then it says that Tutu prompted an outcry for urging to pray for and forgive those responsible for Nazi atrocities after a visit to Jerusalem's Holocaust Memorial in '89. And he encouraged others to have similar views. And because he was so influential, he became the most influential anti-Semite of our time, Dershowitz went on. So that is why Bishop
Desmond Tutu was labeled with being anti-Semitic, and unfortunately, the Jew-ish man, and ish meaning sort of, kind of, something like, but not really being of, decided to come out at that moment. He couldn't do it while the man was alive. He had to wait until he died to do it, and that's how these. And I'll refrain because I know you recording. I'm in the South, so I don't want to use my terms, but that's how these pink toes act, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all have a good night. I'm playing my play.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move it around to original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what Sister said about those Asians cheating on those SAT tests, that is so true. Because that is what I was going to say. Is that when I lived in California, this brother, he wasn't administered to those tests. And he was on the radio talking one day, and he talked about how they had to change the way that they administered those tests, because what the agents were doing, they would come in and click, and each person was required to memorize a certain portion of the test. And when the test was over, they would go outside and write down those questions. And if they did not get a good grade on the test, they would go and study what they missed and then come back and get a high score. So she is so right. And this whole thing with affirmative action, doing away with affirmative action, because I do believe we're in better shape than what's being portrayed. Because see, I kind of look at it like I call it the Soul Train analysis. See, when Soul Train was on, Soul Train was primarily financed by Johnson Publishing and other black-owned healthcare products lines. And so that's why if we're planning on having something, we got to build that business infrastructure to support it. And that's what really supported Soul Train was Johnson Publishing and what was it, Proline and some of those. I can't think of. Let's see, Fashion Fair, Chloe Roberts Makeup, and some other. But they were all black-owned companies, and they supported Soul Train. They sponsored Soul Train. So that's what we're gonna have to move to. But this affirmative action, see, the Asians, they think they got it going on, and when they do away with this, and people know, like Sister Trouble said, they cheating on these tests. So what's going to happen is they're going to start being excluded anyway, okay? Because of who they are. Then they're going to run back to us for some support. It's like, you've already showed your hand. We don't need you. We don't want you. We don't need you. So you need to bounce. But that's what this is all about. Is all these other groups, everybody want what we have. We're the original people on this planet. And and like I told somebody, look, I don't know where y'all came from. I know black folks came from Africa. Now, what we have is that how people have stated that, we know we migrated all over the world. And I heard one of our scholars say that he had some Asian students from China, and they said, yeah, there are black people in China. See, the question is, there are still black people in China, like there are black people in the Himalayan mountains and stuff, other places where their skin is still dark. So my question to them is, who are you, and where did you come from? Because you ain't be one of me. So people need to understand that if we just concentrate on ourselves, we have to keep an eye on everybody else. But if we concentrate on ourselves, we are going to be all right. Everything's going to go well because we are winning. I don't care what anybody say. We are winning. And like I had to tell some parents, I said, look, prep your child to go to college on a scholarship. I know this brother. I had a chance to meet him, and I wish I could find his stuff. Some of his stuff has disappeared offline. This brother, he went to MIT on a scholarship. He got his graduate degree from Georgia Tech on this, what they call it, student something, what they call the it's another form of a scholarship. So he graduated with a graduate degree, and he ain't got no debt. So we got some smart children out there. They want to portray us as being lagging behind, and all you got to do is just teach your child, and your child will succeed in our land on that.
All right, brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Black pressure. Go.
Could I add a part into what he just said?
Go ahead.
Right quick. He's 100% right. You remember, I don't know if it was 2019 or 2020, they was coming out and they were saying that Black women specifically were the most educated group. So if they know that we're the most educated group, it would make sense that they would try to knock that back down via affirmative action. But at the same time, it's sort of like a trick bag, because the affirmative action really isn't going to us. So I'm with Black Native when I say they can have it, and then maybe we can start all over and ask them for something like what someone else was saying about an article as far as getting it leading to space.
All right. Thank you, Sister Black Pressure. Go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
All right. So news, you have to give me a second. Hold on. I'm sorry, I got a phone call. So you got to give me 2 or 3 minutes to unpack. I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. So I want to shout out the homie Insane Optimist. He set this up real nice with the jab. So I'm gonna come behind him with the right hand. So he came and said that he spoke on the accusations about Dr. Martin Luther King and his affairs and all that. Okay, I want y'all to remember this, and he's true that even today people still take that and run with that. Okay, there was a sabotage campaign against us, but we all know it as COINTELPRO. So what happened is what's the guy's name? See, that's when you get old, you forget the dude's name. What's his name? The one that hated Black people.
J. Edgar Hoover. Talk about J.
Edgar Hoover. Thank you, kind sir. Yeah, make me look like I'm smart. But J. Edgar Hoover, okay, this is what happened. There was something called the Freedom of Information Act. So what that let the regular citizen do is request any type of information from state, local, and federal governments. That's how we found out that that President Kennedy was cheating with Marilyn Monroe. That's how we heard the tapes where Lyndon B. Johnson called Martin Luther King a nigger preacher. That's how we found out about how he even surveilled the Rat Pack, Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra and all those guys. That's how we found out Frank Sinatra was dealing with the mafia. He had heavy dealings with the mafia. He had bugged everybody. He bugged the Oval Office. He had people surveilled all that, right? So coming behind our brother Insane Optimist, what happened is when the Freedom of Information Act came out, you had all these Black people say, hey man, when this act came out, we got the tapes on Lyndon B. Johnson, we got the tapes on Kennedy, we got the tapes of old boy surveilling the Rat Pack and finding out they was dealing with the mafia. They said, hey, them tapes of Martin Luther King cheating and all this shit, we need them tapes. Tapes ain't never showed up in 40 fucking years. So anyway, like I said, they kept saying, where are these tapes at? Where him cheating? You got this surveillance, him, these phone calls, cheating with all these women. We need those tapes. Once again, they never popped up. And I'll move on to this, okay? So everybody knows I love my Black family till I die, right? And I can't remember, I think it was Professor that brought up Black people and the tech world and Asian people, how they control all the tech world. Really, it's not that Black people don't understand tech, or it's not that, the Black people, we can't get it, or that's not their air quotes, that's not our thing. Tech it's not a Black problem. The issue is that we're kept from being exposed to tech. That's what it is. So I would just, I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm someone's teacher. I'm far from that. But I want everybody that can hear my voice right now. I'm giving you some homework. You can go to Google right now. This is a Black man. I'm not even going to tell you what he did, what he's responsible for. I just want to show you what the Black mind is capable of, even when we're not exposed to conventional education. Go to Google or Yahoo or whatever you use, YouTube, and Google Henry T. Sampson and just find out what this brother was responsible for. Just that's your homework for the night. Just go Google that, right? And I'm gonna close with this. Clarence Thomas needs his ass curb stomped. Talking about affirmative action. The only way that he went to Yale to practice law was a scholarship set aside by affirmative action. I wouldn't listen to nothing this porch monkey ass picking any nigga says, and I'm gonna land my plane there.
You ain't lying. Like I said, he's one that benefited from it, and now he wants to act brand new because he's been around all these white Republicans and white conservatives for the past 45, 50 years and stuff like that. But if you remember when he had that back in the 90s when he had that sexual harassment before he got sworn in as actual Supreme Court justice, at that time it was convenient. He didn't mind playing the race card then because his main thing and you had a black woman accusing him of that. And he set up and he said, well, you know that what we have going on here is a public lynching. And everybody's like, dummy. Nobody's ever lynched a black man in this country for doing anything to a black woman. So when it was convenient, now you want to go ahead and play that you black and you being penalized because you're a black man and this and that. Stop it. Stop it. That you right, Black Pressure. Like this guy is a fool here. Like he sits up here and he kisses all his tail and whatnot. When he needed the black people then. Because black people at that time, I remember I was real young. I might have been in like 5th grade or something like that. But when he needed the actual black support, you had black Democrats along with black Republicans and stuff because they wanted to see him get up in that space because Thurgood Marshall died. You only had one person, so he was going to be the replacement of Thurgood Marshall. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead, y'all. We're going to close this out in a second. I'm going to have my final 3 speakers for the night. I'm going to have professors next, and then we're going to have Leon. Actually, I'm going to let Leon go first because Leon hasn't had a chance to speak. So we're going to go Leon, Professor, Original. Those are going to be the final 3 speakers for the night, guys. So let me go ahead and get to Leon.
Thanks, Newstoter. Yeah, it's funny. I was just watching a quick thing of CNN with Jake Tapper, and he had some type of analyst on it. We talked about the whole affirmative action and what Kavanaugh was saying. Affirmative action was mostly for white women. Let's just keep it a buck. So hopefully that will go back and hurt them as much as it will hurt us. But I'm not really too concerned about that, and I'm going to tell you why. Since we're doing this whole reparations delineation, maybe it's time for us to just start looking elsewhere. And I don't mean elsewhere like as far as overseas or anything like that. Elsewhere meaning maybe we need to start doing a little bit more for self, for us. You know what I mean? So that's just something I'm just thinking about right now. And the Kyrie Irving situation, that's nothing like what Kanye went through. Kyrie was standing 10 toes down. And he was just expressing about a movie, which I'm about to watch right now, actually, because I was looking for it when I was listening to it. Tariq speaks about that, so I'm gonna watch that right now. And so, somebody mentioned earlier about like the ADL and everything. I think when this got hit with, I don't know who was asking kind of the question. It seemed like it was more just white supremacists poking the bear, talking about, oh, you shouldn't be talking about the Jays like that. That's going to be in the ADL is going to come and get you. You know, not saying that it was another Jewish person that was doing the interview, unless that was Vlad, which he is Ashkenazi Jew, but he's also racist too. So, because yes, they can be racist as well or anti-black. So, with that being said, I'll just land there. Thank you, dudes, for letting me come on the thing. I'll land there.
No problem, brother. Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and get to Professor, and then we're going to get the Original.
Thank you again for letting me come up, Newstoter and DJ, man. Let me say this, y'all. In reference to affirmative action, this has never benefited us. So I guess getting rid of it really shouldn't bother us at all because it doesn't benefit us. It benefited white women. It has always benefited them. They have really gained a lot from it. But let me say this too. with affirmative action, white men in particular have said that this is reparations. I don't know if y'all have heard this, but I know I have heard it in some of the spaces. Like when I go into some of these rooms, I have heard white people say that that was reparations for us. So if they get rid of that, then guess what? White people no longer can use that as an excuse to say, y'all already have reparations. Because affirmative action never benefited us anyway. So that's my take on that. Now, with these Asians, what I'm going to say about them is for the sisters that go up into these shops, y'all need to start going up in these shops, giving money to these motherfuckers. Excuse my French. Start giving your money to these folks. Start giving your money to these folks at their food places, all these different China gardens and Hakasashi, whatever they call it, different restaurants. Start going up in there because I have watched videos and videos and videos of them disrespecting black women. And I'm talking about several times over where they slap black women. As a matter of fact, there was a video that just came out last month, y'all. I know y'all saw it. In one of the restaurants where the Asian man threw a drink up in the black woman's eye. And I think it did something to her eye.
Yeah, it was like blonde girl, yo. She got a patch over her eye now.
Yeah.
She took the patch off or not, but whatever the next drink that she ordered, which was her drink to begin with. You know what I'm saying, Professor? And not to take your talking points, but she ain't like her food. It wasn't that she didn't pay for it or whatever. She just asked to get some other type of food. And Asian dude got mad, called all types of names, and threw a drink in her face, burned her eye, yo. Real shit.
Yeah, that's exactly right, sister. So I would say to you all is to stay out of there. Now, there were some brothers that came back and paid that dude a visit, which I love watching that part of the video when they came back up in there, because that dude was running scared then. He didn't know what to say. Because that brother was about to tear that damn place down and came up in there. But see, that's what we got to do, brothers. When they come after our women like this, we got to go back and pay them a visit. That's right. We got to show them that we can't let you get away with this stuff. But sisters, I say stay out of their hair shops, stay out of their restaurants. Just stay away from these damn people. They smell like cat and dog anyway. Shit, you don't know what they be putting up in your food, and you just don't know. I know. Hey, y'all, let me tell you something. Here in Alabama, several of them damn salons that these folks own have been caught up in prostitution. There's been several of them that's been busted here in Alabama for prostitution. Then some of the restaurants around here have been closed down because the damn place was running full of rats and roaches and shit. Yeah, cats. They found cats in some of them down here. So I'm telling you, leave these damn folks places alone. Stop giving your money to them, sisters. That's right. And for you brothers that doing it too, stop going up in there. I don't like going up in the damn Chinese places. They're not going to get my money. So anyway, I land my plane there.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Original, you're going to be the last speaker for the night, brother. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, yeah. I've been multitasking, kind of lost my train of thought, but I just want to say to everybody, if you have not purchased Aunt Ly's book, allegedly, you need to get that book. It is a good read. I mean, she breaks it down about slave catching and how slavery is still going on today. So if you haven't purchased her book, you need to. I don't have a website right here, but it's just called Allegedly.
Thebookallegedly.com. Thebookallegedly.com. Wow, Sister Unlock.
Appreciate that. But just if you all can get that book, and it will open your eyes to. I mean, there's stuff that I already knew about the 13th Amendment, but I did not know it was as severe as it was until I read her book. And then she displayed what was going on in the state of New Jersey. I mean, this is an ongoing issue that we have to verse ourselves on it more so we can address it. So I just want to say that, and I will land my plane. And I guess that is the end of the show. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you, brother. DJ, you got something you want to add real quick?
Just getting the Jumbotron. You know, we agreed to agree, whatever the case may be. And y'all get a chance, come follow Newstoter on our new Black American platform. It's called Social. So basically, we need to get off these WPI sites. You feel what I'm saying? They ain't for us. You know, the Twitter whistleblower, Elon Musk owning the new shit, even though he ain't got nothing to do with us. At the end of the day, like we said earlier, I think it was me and Professor, we was agreeing that we just really need our own shit. And that's the only way we going to really be, you know, not going to have to worry about anti-Semitism, white supremacy, all this other shit. So the moment we get our own shit, the further we can get the hell away from these Mickey 50s, as Sister Angela was saying. And get in the Jumbotron, like Brother Original said. Sister Arla, her book is right there, the book Allegedly, right there in the Jumbotron. Top left-hand side, second dot from the right. And our new social platform, Follow Social. That's Brother Greg Black State. He put it together, and he welcomed them all up there. It's for everybody and anybody, but it's Black American Senate. So it's all going to be for us specifically, but anybody is welcome to come up there. And then with that being said, we start our reparations up.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I just want to say this real quick. You guys know I do we normally do 4 spaces a week from 8 to 10 p.m. I'm playing the role of one of the roles in our family as a caretaker. So I may be only able to do 2-3 spaces a week sometimes, maybe even 1 or 2, depending on how often I'm needed or whatnot. So I just thank all you guys for coming out to this space tonight. This was a great space tonight. I'm going to go ahead and still put out as many tweets and content and everything as possible. So at this point in time, I just ask you guys to pray for my family as we're dealing with some issues, not to get too personal or whatever, but definitely support you guys. I definitely appreciate you guys coming to the space. We're going to go ahead and try to do this as often as possible. I'm sorry, somebody said something?
I said will do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know you're going to come through pressure when you get a chance or whatnot. So I appreciate you guys. Like I say, at this time, it's kind of a rough moment at this time. So trying to just get on here. I missed Thursday, couldn't do it Thursday, whatever. But once again, I thank you guys. We had a great space tonight. We talked about anti-Semitism, affirmative action, Kyrie. You know, we try to put out as much content as possible and whatnot. So, you know, I just want to go ahead and thank you guys. Like I say, may not be able to hit it up the 4 spaces a week like we normally do in the 2 hours and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to be on here as often as possible. This was really therapeutic tonight. So I appreciate you guys for all that came to the space and whatnot and supported as usual and whatnot. I really appreciate you guys. Like I say, right now, just dealing with some personal family issues that we're trying to go ahead as a family and deal with and whatnot. So, like I say,
so sorry about your personal issues. May I interject for 1 second? I just posted that article about the debate or questioning whether or not slavery should be inserted instead of a minority. It's in the Jumbotron.
All right, appreciate that, brother. But
hey, news. I saw your Seminoles, man. I saw them boys act up, man.
Oh yeah, they were looking pretty good for the most part against Georgia Tech, man. So we'll see. They got Miami this weekend and whatnot, so definitely gonna be catching that game up, y'all. So and also y'all check the notifications because I'm gonna be doing another space. DJ, me and DJ, we hitting it up in the back channel. Ray, like he was doing this trick or treat thing, playing daddy today and whatnot. Thank goodness my kids are a little bit. Done got a little bit too old for the trick or treating and whatnot, but thank all you guys for coming into the space tonight. Somebody got an open mic.
I told them, tell the kids we're gonna need the Kit Kats, the Snicker bars, and all the Reese's cups. Tell them the Newstoter chat is coming to get that goodie bag. So any of kids.
Yeah. So guys, I would definitely check just check your I'm gonna DM you guys. You guys gonna see me tweet out the spaces and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow night or Wednesday night or Thursday night, but we're gonna definitely expect to have another good space and whatnot. And make sure you guys come out and tweet it out and let everybody know to hit up the Newstoter spaces. And remember one thing, if you forget one thing, that Newstoter is the largest Black American-owned news curation platform today in America. So when you guys see those tweets go out, 25, 30 tweets a day and whatnot, and I kind of been slipping a little bit, like I said, with so much different things going on and stuff like that. Go ahead and tweet that out, leave a comment, like it or whatever. Do what you guys can. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel as well, to the YouTube channel, the newsletter, and we will see you guys. We'll see you guys this week again. So God bless y'all, and y'all take care. Make sure y'all take care of your family, man.
Peace out, y'all. Bless up.
Yeah, peace out. God bless y'all.